Good morning, Sakina, to you and our viewers at home. I'm absolutely excited. And as you've mentioned, during this month of September and Heritage Month, we're looking at various sporting codes that are not so conventional, but they are garnering support and interest from a lot of people. And we started off with pigeon racing. I am, of course, out in Walkerville. I'm joined by Dr. Samuel Ngcobo. He is a breeder of pigeons and also owns pigeons. Let's move in and chat to Dr. Ngcobo because I have so many questions for you. And I mean, even if when we were talking off air, I bombarded him with so many questions because it's so interesting. So Dr. Ngcobo, first off, how did you even get into pigeon racing? Because people are sitting at home and they're like, there's such a thing as pigeon racing. And yes, it may have a lower profile in South Africa, but when you look at the global stage, from a commercial and financial point of view, pigeon racing is massive.
Yeah, no, good morning and morning to your viewers at home. Yeah, it began when I was young. I think I was blessed to be in a multiracial school because that's where it was. So I lived in the township, went to school there. So I used to see these birds flying during break, and then I was interested. I also had my own, I call them park pigeons, you know, these ones that you find in the street. But I found those ones very interestingly because how they flew, the energy. And so I went to the men across the school and I asked him why these pigeons were so energetic. He explained, he said they are racing pigeons. It just began there. And interestingly enough, I bought my first pigeon from him. I took my bus fare money. It was 5 rands. And I bought that bird and I had to walk home.
You said I'll 10 toes GP so that I can get this pigeon.
Yeah, and I bought it and I took it home. That was my first pigeon. But unfortunately, I could not race it because I was in the township. We did not have clubs. We still don't have clubs. So I had to just keep it and admire it. And that's where the love grew in my heart.
You speak about we don't really have clubs in South Africa. For those that are watching at home right now and are a bit confused, what do the clubs do? What is their role in the bigger scheme of pigeon racing in South Africa? Talk to me about that.
It's a very organized sport. There are federations, actually. It comes from federations down to unions, down to clubs. So clubs, they kind of organize everything, and we join clubs. And then from the clubs, it's controlled by the federations. So once you join a club, it's called boundary. It means the distances have to match. Then from there, that's when we start racing our pigeons.
So people that are sitting at home watching, and I think also with me as well, when I was thinking about pigeon racing, I thought, oh, how far are they racing? Is it like 100 meters? Is it 200 meters? Is it a kilometer? But it's a lot more than that because you have races that go all the way up until 900 kilometers. Talk to me about the distances and how you actually train the pigeons to know that this is the route that we're going. How long does it take for them to cover an average race?
I'm not so technical in the sport. They're technical guys. But last week, let me tell you now, we raced 700 kilometers. I think by next week, we are on 900 kilometers. So it takes baby steps. You train your pets from 5 kilometers up to 10. One has to be sure that the birds are fit. There's fitness involved. You look at the time they cover per distance. That's how it shows you they are fit. How they come in, and so that tells you then how to move from distances to distances to distances until you then reach those particular distances. Clubs are there, very supportive. Federations are there with information, and so that you can train your pigeons in a better way, so that birds are ready for that particular distance. And let me tell you now, just like human athletes, they are athletes. You know, when they are fit, they are going to fly those distances. Like sometimes your longer 500 Ks, 600 Ks. Yeah, they take about 5 hours. Bloemfontein.
5 hours?
Yeah. Bloemfontein, it's 2 hours. 150, it can be less than that. They are very fast.
Let's talk about the prize money in the competitions. When we compare the South African scale versus the rest of the world, how far off are we, and what would you say that price range looks like?
No, we are very far. We are very far. I just came from the Olympics now. There's Pigeon Olympics in Netherlands, where Europe, that's where the sport began. There's a lot of money there. And then the biggest money is China. China is actually gambling. Let me tell you now, in China, you can sleep today as a zero-naire. You can win a race tomorrow and become a millionaire. And I'm not joking. It happens. That's why they spend a lot of money in buying pigeons. And I think South Africa should take that route with all our economical problems, challenges. The sport does provide a lot of money. Locally, no, we don't have so much locally. We have what you call one-off races. That's where the big money is, than club races. Yeah, you win about, per person, you can win 100,000, 500,000, R1 million. That it ranges from there.
And that's with one-loft racing. Speak to me about your biggest purchase, because I know that you used to have a pigeon, which you've now sold. You won't tell us how much you sold it for. Golden Prince, right?
Yeah.
How much was Golden Prince when you purchased Golden Prince?
It was the most expensive at the time, 360,000 euro. That's how much it was at the time.
At the time, and at the time, that 360,000 euros was about 5 million rand.
Yeah.
Right now, it's sitting at around 7 million rand. So you make that purchase, but you know it's an investment, because this is a pigeon that genetically can also give you a good breed of pigeons to come thereafter. But also, when you sell it off, you can also make a profit. Was that your thinking at the time when you purchased Golden Prince?
Exactly, and remember that we purchased Golden Prince, but Golden Prince started to have babies all these years, and we were selling their babies. I am raising some of his babies. I'm sending some of his babies to go and race. So it's a very big investment.
Are you going to give Morning Live Golden Prince's little babies for the future?
We can discuss, yeah. We can negotiate, no problem.
I'm just joking. Okay, so we're going to take a walk inside, because inside we're going to see some of the pigeons that you've got here, and you'll also just talk me through, because you say there's different levels of fitness. What do they look like? Because I heard from some of my colleagues that the pigeons do look very healthy. Okay, here they are. Let's walk in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I have them here in the basket. It's so that it can be better to catch, because it's a bit challenging to catch them.
Oh, so if we open the basket, they're not going to fly out?
No. I know how to open.
Okay.
Yeah, I know how to open. Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, an example of a pigeon. There's a lot then we look at. We look at the shape of the pigeon, the wing, most importantly. You see, the wing has to be proper, without damages.
Yes.
Obviously, the pigeon flies on wings. We can look at the wing, we can tell it's a short distance bird, it's a middle distance bird, it's a long distance bird. Again, you don't fly any pigeon for any distance. You need to know what distance they fly so that they don't struggle. Yeah, and then we look here, is what we call the condition. This is the bone of the pigeon. And then we look here. When we look here, we look at the condition of the pigeon. So it's going to tell you here if the pigeon is healthy or not. So we are kind of become vets and doctors at the same time, because we are able to assess our pigeons, look at the condition. Then we spoke of muscles. Muscles are here.
So based on what we're seeing here now, what would we say the condition of this pigeon is?
No, the condition is good, because what we look at is the pigmentation. It has to be red. If it's pale or white, pigeon is sick. You need to treat the pigeon. So even before we call basket, meaning to go and race, we look at the wellness of the pigeon. If the pigeon is not well, it does not go to race. It has to be well. It has to be fit. Your muscles are here.
Yes.
Your muscles are here. You see. So you check the muscles. Is the pigeon fit or not? So yeah, we look at all those things.
And it looks very calm as you're touching and looking at the muscles. But let's go back to the wings again, because you say you can tell by the wings whether it's a short distance or long distance. When we look at this one in particular, what distance would you say that is?
This one is, it covers about short to middle distance.
Okay, what's a short distance?
Short distance, it's from, South Africa, we start about from 250K up to 400 and something.
Okay.
And then your middle starts from 500 up to about 600. And then your long starts from 700.
Yeah.
Some go to about 1,000. Some go to about 900Ks.
Let's talk about the development of pigeon racing in South Africa. You say when you started out, you bought your first pigeon for R5, you couldn't race it. There wasn't many clubs. There are a few clubs now. So when you look at the sport of pigeon racing in South Africa in terms of those disadvantaged communities and the young girl or boy that's sitting at home that says, like Dr. Samuel Ngcobo, I have a love for pigeons. It's something I'd like to get into. Do we have anything happening in terms of the development of pigeon racing to get youngsters involved?
Unfortunately, no. No. There are really guys trying. I'm one of the ones who's in front trying. But no, we don't have development. We still don't have clubs in townships. I'm trying to really establish a club in Soweto. But it's difficult. It's difficult. So we don't have this, and we need a lot of support from the private sector, but especially government. Because let me tell you now, there are young people that I've groomed. You saw some of them here. They are in the sport, and this has taken them out of the street. Because remember that pigeons are animals, and they are therapeutic by nature. You know, horses, they can assist you to deal with your stress and sicknesses. Pigeons are like that. You spoke now, you said that the pigeon is so calm, you know, and it is calm. It brings that sense of peace within you. So when young people get involved in pigeons, let me tell you now, it takes them off the street. They get glued. We call it a pigeon sickness, pigeon bug. Once it even yourself. Yeah. Even yourself. I'm telling you now, once it bites, you'll never get out of the spot.
Dr. Samuel, just as I start to wrap up with you, what would your message be then to the South Africans that are watching right now? Because we are saying we're looking at sporting codes that are not so conventional, that a lot of people wouldn't think about top of mind, but that are starting to garner interest and support. What would your message then be to the South Africans watching when it comes to pigeon racing? What do you want them to know? What do you want to get out there? How do they get involved?
They can get involved with us because I'm the one currently who's active in the sport, and they should get involved in the sport. And they should get involved. If we look at town, CPD, we can get what you call rooftop lofts. It could be a very vibrant thing, economic thing that can change things. So our people should get involved in the sport, and I'm pleading to the government as well to really assist us. You know, and many guys in the sport, in the clubs, they are willing also to assist. Let's get the sport out there. It could assist us. Let's take it to schools for young children to learn from young, and then tomorrow they'll become racing pigeon champions.
This would not be an interview if I don't ask you this one question. In the races that you participated in, what has been your biggest victory in terms of prize money?
I don't know, prize money. I think there's quite a lot, but I think my biggest position was what you call hotspots. One of the races, you have hotspots, it's prize money, then you get your final race prize money. So I've scored about 7th, 5th, 3rd, and abroad. You're not going to tell me
the prize money. How many pigeons do you have, just out of interest, that you breed and the ones that obviously you sell off at a later stage?
About 800. I think around about 800. Yes.
Thank you so much, Dr. Samuel Ngcobo of Samuel Lofts out here in Walkerville. Let's look at these ones over here as we wrap up. They look very nice, they look calm, they look collected, and it's all about pigeon racing out here in Walkerville. Dr. Samuel Ngcobo says you too can also get involved, and that's the note in which we'll wrap it up out here in Walkerville for today. Let's take you to studio now for your morning headlines.
Well, how interesting was that, Vusiwe? I'm looking at Gauteng Pigeon Union 2024 results, seeing that the good doctor wouldn't tell us how much he earned. I'm trying to figure out how much people earn when they have their pigeons winning races. So I'll tell you, as soon as I find it, I will let you know. I'm busy. I'm on it. So I'm clearly invested and so looking forward to many more of these sporting codes that don't necessarily, make the headlines or are top of mind for most of us. And Morning Live will be showing you many more of these. Right, that's